We'll be right back.
You're listening to No Copay Radio. Check out our website at nocopayradio.com or email any questions you might have to nocopayradio@gmail.com.
And welcome back. It's No Copay Radio. It's a beautiful day. We're here. Thanks to the folks at Dr. the Denver Regional Council of Governments Area Agency on Aging with Jayla Sanchez-Warren. I'm Murphy Houston. Their number's 303-480-6700. Getting a lot of calls over there, are you, Jayla?
We are getting. We had over 1,300 last month.
1,300?
1,300.
Wow. That's pretty above normal, isn't it?
It's a huge increase for us. But it also shows the need. There's a lot of need out there.
Absolutely. And the people you run into that, listen to No Copay Radio, ask about the number.
Benny's restaurant. I was in Benny's restaurant.
I love Benny's.
The person behind me in the next booth heard me laugh, she said, and recognized my laugh from the radio. And she goes, "Are you on the radio?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And she goes, "Oh, that oldie show, right? I love that." And I said, "No Copay Radio." And she goes, "Yeah."
Or the oldie show. Maybe we'll change the name. Welcome to the oldie show. Nah, I don't think that works at all. So another special guest, a doctor standing next to me so I can absorb intelligence somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Man. Yeah. So introduce
Stand
him.
a little closer, Murph.
Well.
We talked about so much need in the region, so many people aging, and that's a good thing, right? Because think of what the alternative is.
Right.
So aging is not a bad thing. We should celebrate that. And we're looking for ways to help people age better. And one of the newer kind of ideas is the village model. And we've kind of got a couple village models going on here in the metropolitan area. Dr. Paul Ramsey is going to talk to us about it. I don't usually call him doctor, but he is.
Thank you.
He's a doctorate of theology. He got his doctorate at Iliff School of Theology.
But that's a good school.
It is a good school. He is the executive director of A Little Help. And he's going to tell you about that in a minute. But I can tell you he's passionate about the mission of connecting neighbors to help seniors thrive.
That's a great idea, Paul. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's funny, you see it advertised so much on television. It's not funny, but right away when you said the village, I'm thinking, well, we're going to Florida and we're going to play golf down there at the village.
Yeah.
Not
I have
like
one
that.
more thing to share.
Yeah. Huh?
He's the lead singer and songwriter for the soul band Leon and the Revival.
Is that true?
That is true.
And where do you perform?
We just had an EP release party at Globe Hall, which is the newest AEG venue.
Yeah, it is.
On Friday night. And we'd gone through recording at the Keep, a studio here in town, and it was great. Had a full crowd dancing, and
it's like a little R&B. Is that what it is?
I had no idea about
it's kind of R&B, old soul, maybe
a little bit of a little Motown kind of thing.
Probably Otis Redding meets kind of Van Morrison or something like that.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy in radio. I played all those guys. I kind of like that sound.
I've listened. Yeah,
really. So, Paul, let's talk about the village. Let's talk about this model you've come up with and what it's all about, so our friends understand.
So the model's 15 years old. Started in Boston. We started 10 years ago after a group of octogenarian neighbors in Washington Park read about the village, Beacon Hill Village in Boston. It was in a Wall Street Journal and then some other national publications, and they decided, well, we could do that. And the concept is really kind of neighbors helping neighbors, so that as we do, you can provide a little help. And we help to bridge, I think, some of the gaps and help to resource folks to Seniors Resource Center or Colorado Visiting Nurses Association or other kind of Dr. Cog funded network of care. But ours is a bridge, and it really is a little help. I started 5 years ago, and the name of our organization was Washington Park Cares, and my charge was to grow the organization with new members, new volunteers, and geographically. And the name Washington Park Cares really needed to change. And so as we did focus groups, and I met with these 80-something, 90-something folks, the common thread of the people living in their homes, trying to achieve independence, and was, I don't need help. I don't need help, but sometimes I need a little help.
Yeah.
So I said, well, all right, now I got to go find if I can get that domain name. And so I went out to kind of buy www.alittle.help.org, and we've grown since then. We've really kind of morphed the village model of mostly retirees helping older young retirees helping older retirees into a truly multi-generational, intergenerational model. And one of the things I would say is the concept of independence is beautiful, but fleeting and almost impossible. And sometimes that sense of striving for that can sometimes lead folks closer to isolation, ironically. And so we're pushing for interdependence.
I see.
So that the neighbors who were really willing, I firmly believe, and I think all of us in the room believe, that there are good neighbors everywhere.
Right.
And good neighbors willing to do these things. And so what we do is really just connect them and kind of fill the gaps of a little help along the way. So we offer snow shoveling, rides to the grocery store, companion rides to the doctor, so that maybe sometimes people want note-taking. We've developed a program called Care Share, which is a caregiver respite, as John was talking about, how difficult life can be on a caregiver. We have a particular program that has a higher level of training for caregivers, for caregiver respite volunteers, so they can come in and just give kind of 3 hours a week in the home of something different, and sometimes that means that the caregiver will be able to go get their hair cut or go out for a beer, or many times they just sit and listen and watch their loved one in a different way than they usually are.
Interact with a different person.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. I would think, I'm just thinking of this great idea, that kind of a connection is great for the seniors, but it's also great for the people making that connection. I can't even imagine. It's beautiful.
One of the things, so we have picnics and different kind of social activities. And 2 years ago, we were at a picnic at one of our volunteers' houses in homes in Park Hill. And there was a kind of 11 people around a 9 or 8 top table. And a few of them were my preteen daughters at the time.
Okay.
And there was an African-American woman who's one of our members who began to tell a story about how she had served as a nurse at Fitzsimmons in the Army when President Eisenhower had a heart attack in Denver.
Wow, I remember
visiting
that.
his in-laws.
Yeah, right.
And so she was, pre-Civil Rights Bill, a primary caregiver for the President of the United States.
Wow.
So my daughters are listening to this with wide eyes, and then the woman, Dolores, was fired up, and she had an audience, and you could see this sense of interdependence kind of developing. And she started, and I met Dr. Martin Luther King twice. And my kids, were just eyes wide open.
I'll
and
bet.
So then when Black History Month came up in February, 6 months after that conversation, my daughter Grace said, "Can I call Dolores to talk to her about Dr. King?" And so those type of things happen a lot.
I'll
And
bet.
spontaneously.
And a lot of it is the value is so reciprocal and so impossible to see who's helping who. It's just, I think, really beautiful and a wonderful experience for me.
Well, is there any age limitations? Like you say, your preteen daughters were involved. I mean, so it's open to anybody.
It's open to everyone. We do big service Saturdays that help with kind of the cleaning out the clutter, and we'll have sometimes 300 volunteers that'll meet in a high school yard, and then we'll go out and clean up other yards and windows and all those different things. And so there's at those events, we've had an age range from about 2.5 to 84.
2.5
to volunteers, and so they're good. The 2.5-year-olds are good bag holders, but more than that, they're really good at sitting on the porch and allowing a person that's maybe a fairly isolated person the chance to talk to a toddler, and that's. Like I said,
awesome.
It's beautiful.
Well, because they don't have a lot of toddlers in their life anymore.
Right.
I can't imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. And they work with you guys, Dr. Cog, very closely, right? The village?
Yeah, A Little Help does work with us closely, and we're hoping that we'll be able to build that relationship even stronger.
So are we, by the way.
Yes, I know. And you're expanding, right?
we're expanding. We've really, for me, one of the reasons that I was so attracted to the job was that our oldest members, and really our oldest member right now in the Denver area, is 2 doors down from the house I grew up in. So I used to deliver the Rocky Mountain News to her. I'd shovel her walk. I'd do all those things. And so she's still a member of ours. And there's not a lot of competition for, volunteer-based, help like this. Right. And so especially in the rural environments, Chaffee County in particular, we have we've over the last year and a half, we've developed a strong branch there of great volunteers, and then in North Fork Valley, Paonia and Hotchkiss in that area. And then we've just been able to hire a director of growth, and Amanda Gregg was with the city of Denver as the director of the Office on Aging for a few years, and before that with Volunteers America. And she's now working closely with the legends like Seniors Resource Center and other Dr. Cog network of care partners to grow our branch in Jefferson County. And so we have a big event coming up on May 17th called Engaging in Aging at Mile High Church, and we have partners like InnovAge and United Healthcare who are helping us kind of move forward with that. And we're really excited, and Amanda's putting that together, and it's just the need is everywhere. Sure it is. And the idea of a little help and the idea of that kind of multi-generational, intergenerational connection, my hope is that we will continue to grow and cover Colorado in the next 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
This sounds like a great family project to me. Families are always like, I want to give back. What can we do? How do they get a hold of you? Volunteers want to help. How do we get in part of the game here? www.alittlehelp.org and 720-242-9032. We would love to hear from folks who want to get involved or want to get involved by receiving services or just want to kind of dip their toe in the water. What a great way to get involved with your community, right, Jayla?
It is. It's neighbors helping neighbors.
Yeah, I love that.
And it is wonderful. And, we've kind of gotten away from that, I think. We don't, I live in the mountains, and one of the reasons we don't live close together, but boy, we come together when we need each other. If there's an issue, if there's problems like with the flood a few years ago, we all came together. There were people, I was helping people, get stuff out of their house that were going to be impacted by the flood. And that's the same kind of concept, only in town. And I think we've kind of lost that in some neighborhoods. And a little help makes it easier to find those contacts again.
Yeah, it sure does. And everybody feels good about it. I mean, It's what we need more of in our communities here. Right, Paul?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, it's a great story. And you can get in touch with Paul through Dr. Cog, I would imagine.
You can. Absolutely.
303-480-6700. It's called The Village, right, Paul? We got that right?
A little help.
A little help. The Village. That Village. See, I can't get it out of my head. It's crazy.
Was the first one.
Yeah.
A little help.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. A little help. Paul, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you very much. This is great. Thank you.
It's great. It's great. Jayla, thank you, too. As always, good guest here for Dr. Cog.
Thanks, Jayla.
Spreading the word, trying to get the word out.
Yeah,
right?
And there's so many things they do at Dr. Cog, the Area Agency on Aging. If you have any questions, something that happened a couple of weeks ago, 303-480-6700 or drcog.networkofcare.org.
Yeah, don't forget about Network of Care. It's a really good resource.
Absolutely, it really is. That's a good job. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to No Copay Radio, brought to you by Dr. Cog. Check out the website at nocopayradio.com or email us with questions to nocopayradio@gmail.com. We'll talk again next week about health and medical issues that are important to those who live right here in Colorado on No Copay Radio.